Have you ever been judged for something you didn't do? I'm Jake, a mechanic who moved to a quiet suburban neighborhood hoping for peace. My backyard was my sanctuary, where I'd set up tin cans for target practice with my old BB gun. It was harmless, just plinking away stress after long days in the shop. The pops echoed softly, barely louder than a snapping twig. But Karen, my HOA neighbor, had other ideas. Karen was the self-appointed queen of the block, always peering over fences, her clipboard ready to jot down infractions. She'd already fined me for leaving my truck parked an inch over her imaginary line. I tried to keep the peace, nodding politely when she ranted about neighborhood standards. But that Saturday, as I aimed at a rusty can, I saw her silhouette at her window, phone pressed to her ear, eyes locked on me. My gut churned. Was she calling the HOA board again? The tension built slowly. Karen started banging on my fence, shouting that my gunfire was terrifying the neighborhood. I explained it was just a BB gun, legal and safe, but her face twisted with righteous fury. "You're a menace," she screamed, storming off. I shrugged it off, thinking she'd just write another complaint. But then I heard sirens. My heart sank. She'd called 911, painting me as some armed lunatic. Neighbors peeked out, whispering, as two police cars rolled up. I set the BB gun down, hands raised, trying to stay calm. The officers approached, tense, hands on holsters. "Step away from the weapon," one barked. I complied, explaining it was just target practice. But Karen's voice cut through, shrill and accusing. "He's been shooting all day. I feared for my life." Here's where it twisted. As the officers questioned me, a new figure emerged, Mrs. Lopez, the elderly widow next door, hobbling out with her cane. She'd been quiet since I moved in, barely a wave. But now she was furious. "Karen's lying," she snapped. "I've watched Jake from my porch. It's a toy gun and he's careful. Karen's the one scaring us with her drama." The officers exchanged glances. Mrs. Lopez's unexpected defense shifted the mood, exposing Karen's exaggeration. But the situation was still a powder keg. Then came the explosion. Karen, emboldened by her 911 call, stormed into my yard, waving her own handgun reel, not a BB gun. "See? He's dangerous!" she shrieked, pointing it wildly, her finger too close to the trigger. My breath caught. The officers shouted for her to drop it, but her panic fed the chaos. In her frenzy, she swung the gun toward me, and I dove behind a tree as a shot rang out, splintering bark inches from my head. The cops tackled her, wresting the gun away. Karen's face went pale, her bravado collapsing as she realized she'd nearly killed me. The aftermath was swift. The officers cuffed Karen, charging her with reckless endangerment. My BB gun was inspected and deemed legal. I faced no charges. Neighbors, now gathered, murmured in shock. Mrs. Lopez stood firm, her testimony sealing Karen's fate. The HOA board, embarrassed by their president's actions, issued a public apology and removed her from her position. Karen's house went up for sale a month later, her reputation in tatters. She'd called 911 to paint me as the villain, but her own actions turned the tables, delivering a bitter dose of justice. I still practice in my backyard, the tin cans pinging softly. Mrs. Lopez joins me sometimes, sipping tea on her porch, chuckling about the day she became my unlikely hero. It's a reminder. Truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how loud the lies. What do you think? Have you ever seen someone's accusations backfire? Share your thoughts below.